Hi, my name is Molly. I'm a second year medical student based in Australia, and today I'll be talking through how I use my iPad Pro to study. I've split the video into 3 parts and I'll timestamp these down below, so feel free to skip around. In the first part, I'll be talking about my iPad model, the Apple Pencil I use, and the screen protector. In the second part, I'll be talking about my note-taking app of choice, which is OneNote. Thirdly, I'll be talking about how I organise my notes, and finally I'll talk about my study method for efficiently dealing with large quantities of information. So I use the 11-inch 2018 iPad Pro with the second generation Apple Pencil and the paper-like screen protector. So, my note-taking app of choice is OneNote. I've also tried GoodNotes and Notability, but 2 things really stand out about OneNote. Firstly, the syncing capacity. The instantaneous syncing between your laptop, iPad and phone means I can be typing notes up, then decide to draw in a diagram on my iPad and go straight back to typing. The second thing that really stands out about OneNote is that you're not confined to an A4 page. I really like this because it means I can add my own notes to handouts or lecture slides without feeling cramped. This is an example of a worksheet on hearing. Here we were learning about the auditory pathway. I found it quite confusing, so on the side I found an image that made more sense to me, and I also drew a summary diagram by hand. I also added some of my own notes at the bottom that I made from watching a YouTube video. To organise my notes, I create one notebook per semester and a section group for each of my courses. Under these go sections. For example, this section group is for my clinical skills course. Under these you can see my sections for each of the different physical examinations we need to learn. Under sections come pages and finally subpages. Okay, now I'm going to be talking about how I take notes in lectures. So I found that my note-taking method had to change once I started studying medicine. There was just so much content that we needed to learn. At the start of my first year, I would write down copious notes on every lecture. These are some examples of my notes on the heart. They're visually very appealing, but did they actually help me understand and retain information? Absolutely not. These notes took hours and hours to complete, and I found I was overwhelmed and falling behind. In an attempt to save time, I then made the mistake of switching to typing up lecture notes. I was practically copying verbatim from the slides. Again, this is terrible for retention. So now I download the PDFs of the lecture slides, upload them to OneNote, and then annotate, highlight and scribble notes as I go. For example, in this lecture on strokes, I've answered the revision questions as I go. This method saves so much time, and physically writing helps me to stay focused as well. For tutorials or anything with worksheets, I simply download the PDF and annotate. This example shows a genetics tutorial. You can see how useful the syncing feature is here. Because typing is so much faster than writing, I typed up my responses, but was still able to scribble on the pedigrees. Another way that the iPad has been invaluable is for drawing freehand diagrams. For example, we need to make mechanisms to show the process of diseases. There is so much flexibility to add arrows, colour code using highlighters to indicate symptoms, signs, physical findings, etc. It's also amazing for anatomy drawings. So I hope this video has been helpful for you. If you have any questions or comments, leave them down below.